Hello everyone, and welcome to Using Plickers for Engaging Data Collection. You are either viewing this webinar because you weren't able to attend the Choice PD session because of attending another, or because you need a little refresher. Please remember that this webinar can be paused at any time. That means that after I give you something to do, you should probably pause my video and then go and do it. That will make this a step-by-step process. I am going to walk you through every step of setting up your Plickers and getting something ready to use it in the classroom. The first thing you need to do is go to www.plickers.com. At this time, you're either going to sign in or sign up. If you're choosing the sign up option, it's very easy. You're just going to enter your first and last name as well as your email address and password. This does not have to be the same as your Baltimore County, but I do highly suggest using your typical BCPS username and password, whatever you typically use for your technology. Next, you need to download the app on your phone. So if you have an iPhone, you're going to go to the Apple iStore. And if you have an Android phone, you're going to go to the Google Play Store. Remember that if you have an Apple iPhone, typically you need to remember your Apple ID and password. For Android users, at this point, it will probably ask you to download, as well as it might ask you to allow access. And for Plickers to work correctly, you need to allow any access to your camera so that you can scan the Plickers during instruction. The next thing you need to do is get your cards. If you go to the top of your Plickers screen, you can see the cards button. You're going to click on that. And below is a list of all of the different cards that you can use. I do highly suggest looking at each of the sets of cards to see what is right for you. From personal use, I have found that the large cards work best. This allows you to stand at the front of the room without moving and scan throughout the room, and they very easily pick up on your phone. At times, I have found that the smaller standard cards at times don't get picked up as easy. So I do suggest using the large cards. Now that we have our cards, I'm just going to tell you about the layout. Every card has an A, B, C, or D feature, which allows students to hold up their answer. Whatever answer the students want needs to go at the top of the card, and you'll need to model this for your students, especially the younger ones. Also, every card has a number on it. I also suggest for you have tied the number card to their device number. That way they always know their number and I never have to change it in my system. And what's great about the cards is that you can have them store them somewhere safe. I have them store them in their red reading folder. And then when I'm ready to use it, I just say, take out your Plickers. And it allows that quick, easy data collection. That way you don't have to hand them out every time you want to use them. On Amazon.com, you can purchase a matte set of laminated cards for use on cardstock, or you can just print these on regular paper. It is suggested that you don't laminate because sometimes the glare can impede the ability of your phone to pick up the Plickers, but this is also your choice. Either way, you need to print a set of cards that are ready for you to use. Now we're going to add your class to your Plickers site. At the top of the Plickers, we're still on our computer at this point. We don't need our cell phone until it's time to actually do it. At the top of your computer screen in Plickers, you're going to click on the Classes button and go down to Add New Class. From here, you need to name your class. I just do Miss Caruccio and the year. You can do Miss Caruccio's first grade. You don't need to do it by subject area. This is just a very broad class name. Then you can click what year and subject you teach, as well as a class color. Once you have your class created, you're going to enter your students one by one. It's as easy as clicking in the box, this box right here, clicking in there, typing the student's name, and then clicking enter. I highly suggest that you do your class in order so that you don't have to go back and rearrange or renumber your students. So you're going to start with device number 1 and enter that student and go all the way through your class list. When you're finished doing this, you'll see that my finished class list looks as such. Now from here, you can rearrange your class names and you can renumber them. So if you accidentally make a mistake, that is completely able to be fixed. But once again, I do suggest that you put in your names in device order or in number order. Now I am an organization person, so quickly I will show you how to organize your library of Plickers. So you're going to go back to the top of your Plickr screen and click on Library. From there, you're going to create new folders. I like to have a folder for each subject area because once you really get using Plickers and you have a lot of them, it gets a little overwhelming if they're all in one place. So I've created an ELA, Math, Science, and Social Studies folder. Now within that, you can even create folders within. So if I go to my ELA folder, I can select New Folder again and create a folder for Unit 4. This way, your Plickers are even more organized, not only by subject area, but also by unit, making them easier to find for you next year. Now let's make our first Plickers question. You're going to go into whatever folder. I'm doing an ELA, so I'm in the ELA Unit 4 folder, and you're going to select New Question. It's the pink button. From there, you are going to type in your question, and you are also able to attach an image. To attach an image, all I did was I went to google.com, I searched bats and bees, and I saved an image to my downloads. And from there, I went and uploaded it into my Plickers. And this just gives something for your students to visualize, for your students to see, but by no means do you have to have an image there. Next, you're going to select if your question is multiple choice or true false. That is your only options. Now, my question was, which do you believe is more unique, bats or bees? So I have A is bats and B is bees. And remember, when you're doing this, your students will put whatever letter they choose at the top of their Plickers. Now, if you're doing a question that has a correct or incorrect answer, you would select in one of the boxes which one is correct. The wonderful thing about Plickers is that you can do an opinion question. Mine is which is more unique, bats or bees, and there is no correct answer, so I am going to leave these boxes empty. When you are ready, you can either click Save and Create New. That leads you to enter another question. Maybe you have a follow-up, or you just click Saved if you're finished and ready to move on. Now that I have my saved question, I'm going to go down to the Add to Queue button. Now it's going to bring up all the classes that you have. You have a demo class, which is automatically comes with Plickers, and here's my Crucio 2017-2018 class that I added earlier. So I'm going to click on that. Once it's added, if you look off to the right-hand side, you're going to have a question queue, and it's going to show all the questions that you have in queue for your class. These automatically sync to your phone, so as soon as these are on the right-hand side of your screen, they will also be available in your cell phone Plickers app. So let's practice. Hopefully at this point you can have one of your cards in front of you. If you do not, pause the video at this time and get one of your cards so that you can practice. You're going to go into your Plickers app and you're going to click on your class. Mine is Crucio 2017-2018. Now you are going to go into your question queue. And there is my one question that I created. So then I'm going to click on that question. When you click on your question, here's the screen that you will see. Okay, so it has my question as well as my available answers and my total number of students. Now, if you have someone absent, don't worry, it just won't fulfill that student. Now, the wonderful thing is if you click on the camera, this is at the point where it might ask you to allow the Plickers to access your camera, and you have to click allow for this to work correctly. So you're going to click on the little camera button up in the right-hand corner, and it's going to bring you to your camera screen. Now it has all of my class friends' names ready to go, and I'm just going to hold up my cell phone and scan it across the room as students put up their answers. Now, as students' answers are taken in, their name will turn a color. Now, because mine doesn't have a correct answer, mine will turn blue. However, if you have a correct or incorrect answer, if the student had the answer correct, it will flash green. And if the student answered incorrectly, it will flash red. And that's just one of those automatic feedback options for you, so you can see who's getting it right on the go. It also shows how many students select A, B, C, or D. And up in the right-hand corner, it's going to show how many of all of your students have answered, so you know when you have everyone that you need. Now, when you're doing this with your friends, I like to project plickers.com up in the front of the room on my projection screen and show them the live view. This allows them to see that instant data. So here I did which book do you like best. I like to show my students the graph so that they can see the different answers. But you also have the option of showing a checklist. Now, I like to show this as I go so that students can put down their Plickers as I get their answers. So if Lily has answered and I got her data, she's going to have a little check mark by her name, and she now knows that she can put her Plickers down. She doesn't have to hold it up anymore. Now I can show the answers by clicking the reveal answer button, but I like to remind my kids that no one needs to know what they answered except for me. This is a very private way to collect data, so students don't ever feel that anyone will know if they got a question wrong. So I typically do not use that feature, but that is completely up to you. After you're finished, you can view your data by clicking the Reports button at the top of Plickers. You have a question history report, which just goes over what each student answered, or as a class whole, what your class decided. I like to use the score sheet because it lays out my students' names as well as all the questions I have asked them in a specific date range and how they did. This is a great data collection point for small groups, also to show parents, oh, Lily in all of our Plickers uses in math has only answered 68% of the questions correct, and kind of going over it in that sense. But I will tell you that the score sheet is an excellent tool for you to use. All of this is for data collection, and the score sheet puts all of your data in one place. This is going to help you make instructional decisions for your next following days. I want you to go give Plickers a try. Here are some resources that you can use, but please know that I am always a resource. I can always sit with you and go over these Plickers tools. If this webinar maybe went a little too quickly for you or you like to visually see it. But hopefully this webinar got you the basics set up. You're ready to give it a try, but please know that you can come to me at any time and I will sit with you, get you things ready to go. If you'd like somebody in the room while you try this, Trisha George, our stat teacher, is able to set up an appointment to come in and help you implement this. But I promise you that once you do this once and get to know it, this will be the easiest and best data collection tool you have used. Thank you for attending the webinar, and let me know if you need anything else. Have a great day, everyone.